The future of some University of Johannesburg final year students is in jeopardy because the National Student Financial Aid Scheme has not paid their fees. This is despite the Minister of Higher Education stating that students who were already beneficiaries of NSFAS will not experience funding difficulties. Now, the students accuse the government funding scheme of failing to communicate with them over this matter. Newzroom Afrika's Zikhona Tshona filed this report.
Our education depends on their boardroom, that they are funding HR or not.
These students from the University of Johannesburg say they had no idea they would not be getting funding from the National Financial Aid Scheme for their final year of study. Since the university opened, they have been traveling back and forth trying to get answers, and some of them have been missing out on class time. The students say they have not even received their allowance, which is meant to make life easier for them.
Landlords are now trying to evict us from our residences. We've got nothing. Like, as it stands, we don't even have food to eat.
Where are you from?
I'm from Northwest, Bragg.
How are you going to go home now if you don't get the money?
I do not know, because I do not have funds to go home. I do not have transport fare.
The students say this is not their only problem.
When the year ended, we found out that our fees weren't paid. So some of us still have outstanding fees, and now considering the fact that we weren't made aware of the fact that NSFAS might or might not fund us, we have like 200,000 outstanding in debt because of the accumulated fees we have from registering this year. If we had known that we wouldn't be funded, we would have made alternative plans.
And another thing is that after this, which bazaar is going to want to fund us when we have outstanding fees? And I'm not talking about small amount of fees.
We're talking about fees that are about 200,000. How are we going to cover that in a year when we have to graduate next year? Who is going to cover that for us? Because you will not be able to graduate owing 200,000.
The students say the situation has left them helpless, and while they had dreams of graduating, they are slowly fading away.
As far as I'm concerned, the minute we went first years, we signed an agreement that NSFAS will fund our entire degree. So if we meet the academic requirements and we have no disciplinary issues, why now do they decide that they don't want to fund our course?
My mom is a single mom, and we are literally dependent on NSFAS. And as the first child actually going to varsity and completing my degree this year, I cannot be disappointed.
If you don't get the funding, what happens?
We have to deregister.
I say we keep on fighting because NSFAS cannot contradict themselves. They did say returning students will be funded, and we are returning students, final year students.
NSFAS says the students Newzroom Africa spoke to do qualify and should have received their funding. It says it's working on resolving the matter with the Education Department and the university. The University of Johannesburg says it is still investigating and compiling a list of how many students are affected. For Newzroom Africa on Channel 405, I'm Zikhona Tshona in Johannesburg.